to the Past Play podcast. This is a reflection on every video game ever. My name's Matthew.
And I'm Ben.
And today, Ben, we officially become a podcast.
We got two.
We have two episodes. You have to have two episodes of your podcast.
Two, okay.
Previously, we were just an audio special on the Outer Wilds.
Look, now we're
actually
an
a
actual
thing.
game podcast.
Yeah, we're actually a thing. And so today, we're doing one of probably the most influential games ever. Mm-hmm. It probably is the reason Microsoft and Xbox still exists today.
That's right. It's Farming Simulator.
Yeah, Farming Simulator 2001. No, we're doing Halo Combat Evolved, which you would already know because you would have read the title of this episode. So it didn't work.
Oh, they might have been tricked. April Fools.
They could have been fooled by it. Yeah, so we're doing Halo. I guess if you haven't listened to the first episode, this is the format. It's going to be, we'll do a little bit of a talk, spoiler-free, about what we thought about the game. Then we'll jump into a bit of the history, how did it have the development cycle, how did it come to be, and then we'll come back with full spoilers and run through the story.
If you haven't played Halo at this stage, though, it's really your fault. I mean, Halo's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't even know if should we do a spoiler free. It's Halo. It's been out for
we got to stick to the formula.
Yeah,
you know, you
it's
can't.
been 18 years.
You got to. It's been out for 19 years, but you got to promise people as a set format every time. Okay, so
Stop breaking the cycle. Yeah.
I finished this game for the first time for this podcast 19 years after it came out. And I had not been spoiled on the ending, so I didn't know what was going to happen. Okay. I had no idea what happened in this game. So, you know, maybe there are people out there like me that also don't know what's going to happen. And, you know, we got to cater for those people.
Fools.
Okay, so yeah, we're getting into the. Okay, well, I guess the first thing we'll do is a bit of the personal history. So, what's your history with Halo Combat Evolved, or with Halo in general?
Halo in general is probably a better place to start. Bought my Xbox 360, came in a bundle with Gears of War 2 and Halo Reach. That's my introduction to Halo. Halo Reach was my first Halo game. Halo Reach is fantastic. We're not talking about that, but I will probably touch on it quite a bit. Halo Reach is great. And that would have been early. Oh, God. How long ago would that have been? Years ago. 6, 7?
Yeah, I'm thinking 8. I don't know.
8,
something like that.
That's fair. A couple of years ago now, Halo Reach. And then I bought, because they remastered Combat Evolved on the 360. And I was like, sweet. This will be my in to Halo. Bought it. Next day they said, hey, we're making the Master Chief Collection. So I traded it in. And yeah, the Master Chief Collection was my first proper end of the series, I guess. Yeah.
I think it was 10 years ago. That's my new number, because 2010, I'm thinking. I saw it was released 2010. So whether that bundle was out in 2010, but around that time, I'm thinking. So 10 years ago. I also got my first Xbox with the same Gears of War 2 and Halo Reach bundle. It was a good bundle, actually. I think around that time, or maybe beforehand, I played Combat Evolved on PC, like the first 3 missions, and then I gave up. Not because I didn't like it, just because I don't like playing on PC. I had limited PC access.
They go software audience.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're not really PC people, but you know, these games are still they're on PC, so we have, you know, we're catering to you a bit.
We're here, yeah.
We acknowledge that the game was on PC. So I've played the first 3 missions. I've played a lot. I've played the Silent Cartographer probably 6 times or more, because it was like a demo or something. And apart from that, I mean, I played a lot of Halo multiplayer, but like, especially at school when, you know, I was supposed to be doing schoolwork, there was the computer lab was the perfect place to have a LAN party with of multiplayer. So I've got a good bit of history with the multiplayer, but not really much with the actual campaign itself. So this was my first time completing the campaign. It was my first time completing any mission after the first 4.
Yeah. So
there you go. All right. Well, what are your overall thoughts?
Halo's fantastic. The series as a whole is great. The first one it's revolutionary. It and like the first Doom are really like pioneers of the first-person shooter genre. It's fun. It's I mean, because we played a bit together like a couple of days ago. Some of the missions are repetitive as hell. They just back up on each other. But it's, this is a 2001 game. Like, for what it was at the time, it's fantastic. Now, with Halo 2 through to bloody 5 and everything in between, you can see how the franchise has evolved. But this was really the starting point. This is, everything's branched off from here. It's inspired tons and tons of games, and it's just a fun game. Everything about it is fun.
Yeah, well, to follow up on that, I mean, I played it through, and I started this by saying it was probably one of the most influential games ever made. It basically created Xbox. But I wasn't that impressed when I first finished it. I was like, oh yeah, this was a thing. And then I was like, wait a second, this came out in 2001. I was like, if I played this in 2001, I would have been like, oh my god, what is this? To put that in a little bit of perspective, the first Call of Duty didn't come out until 2003.
Really?
The first one. And the first one was crap. Compared to now. I mean, even compared to... for me, I mean, not that I've played any of the super early Call of Duties, but like, I've seen a little bit of COD 2 gameplay, and it's COD like,
3 was
for me,
first. COD
COD didn't really become good until like World at War, which was like 4.
No, Modern Warfare.
Modern Warfare was 4.
Yeah.
What was World War 3? 5? 3? Modern Warfare was
World
good.
at War is 5.
Oh, well then, Modern Warfare was good.
Yeah,
but like,
right.
not that I've actually played that either, but I've played
What?
Modern Warfare. I played Modern Warfare 2, I haven't played Modern Warfare 1.
What?
No, I know. Yeah.
Hey, stay tuned for Modern Warfare 1.
Stay tuned for Modern Warfare 1 campaign as another one. Yeah, so once I realised it came out in 2001, or I at least thought about it, I was like, this is good for the time. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think if I had played it then, I would have been way more high on it now. But having not played it, not having that nostalgia factor as much, I thought it was okay when playing through it today. It was still, the story's still decent. The gameplay definitely stands up. Like,
Yeah.
that's the key, I think, the Halo gameplay. But yeah, I think it's still good today. That's really my overall thoughts of it. And yeah,
It holds up. Graphically,
no.
Oh, bad.
Yeah,
bad.
graphically, it's not very good. I mean, they don't know what lighting is. They haven't really got textures. They've just got colors. Like, it's like, this is a rock, so it's just grey.
Here's grey rock.
He's grey. But the remaster looks really, really good, and that was the 2011 remaster too. Like, not for the Master Chief Collection. That was the 10-year anniversary remaster that they just put on Master Chief Collection. So it looked pretty good in the remaster. I played most of it on the old graphics just to, get a feel of that 2001 times. But
Can't do it. Can't put myself through it.
I mean, that's how I remember, like, especially the enemies. That's how I remember, like, the grunts and the elites
ugly.
as the.
They're so ugly. They get so much better.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think in terms of, if we're not going to do any spoilers right now, which we're not, the gameplay is where we have to focus in on. So it's like, I think...
Should we give a synopsis of what... For anyone
what
who doesn't
is it?
know what
If you don't know what
Halo
Halo is, I mean, why are you listening? But also, it's basically, you're like a super soldier type deal. You're the only guy that has proper armor in your army, basically. Most of them just wear fatigues. Yeah. Even though chronologically, there was plenty of people in armor before. But you're called Master Chief, even though you're not really the chief of anything.
You're the master of everything, though.
Yeah, I guess, but you're just a regular dude. Like, you're not in charge. I mean, you become in charge because everyone else is dead, but yeah, you're not actually the chief of anything. But it was a cool name.
Cool
yeah.
name.
And so in this one, you're fleeing the Covenant, which is like some alien dudes. Not really anything to say about them. They're aliens of different shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
They shoot at you with plasma guns. You sort of crash land on this ring planet that's just...
It's Halo.
It's a Halo. It's called Halo. It's just a massive ring, which it looks like a Halo, obviously. You crash there and you sort of have to discover what's going on there and why the Covenant are there and, save humanity to a point.
Save the universe.
Save everything, yeah. So, it's... that's basically the synopsis, I guess. And
it's not... No, it gets much more complicated, like, later in the series, but Halo 1 is just shoot gun at alien, save universe.
Yeah, it's pretty simple in the story. There is a bit of filler in there, but yeah, I think in terms of the gameplay, it's like it's not traditional. It's not now traditional gameplay, but it would be in the past. I guess back then when it came out, it sort of was, because like Doom was very much you didn't really aim your gun; it was just in the middle of the screen.
Yeah, point and click.
Everything here is pretty much like shooting from the hip fire, or
yes,
you know, you can technically it's not even called aiming when you aim; it's just called zoom.
Yeah,
so it's like because people didn't know how to like aim your gun.
It's definitely then. Like bare bones shooting. I mean, you can see that this is the start of like where shooting will eventually evolve into. It's just point, shoot, up, down, left, right. Nothing's fancy, you know.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I think one of the beauties of the game is that every gun has a purpose.
They all feel different.
They're all so different, and they all have a reason to be around. They like a reason why you might want to pick them, I guess, or use them.
Yeah.
You've got sort of these plasma guns that I think, do they do more damage to shields?
Plasma guns eviscerate shields.
Yeah, they do way more damage to shields. You know, you've got your generic assault rifle, which is just heavy damage, like heavy weight of fire. You know, your pistols is, you know, strong shots, probably the strongest.
That pistol is the best.
Yeah.
One of the best video game guns. I love the Magnum.
The sniper rifle is a laser because you can't aim. They're like,
it's just hit scan.
Well, we're gonna make it's literally just immediately shoot whatever you're pointing at. Yeah. It's got the tiniest reticle ever because they're like, well, you can't aim. So well, you can technically aim with a sniper rifle, but you can hit fire with pinpoint accuracy if you wanted.
Yes.
Like the Needler has this cool thing where if you hit multiple shots, it starts to like create shards that explode. It's sort of there's a good variety of weapons, and there's a reason for them all to exist. Yeah.
There's nothing that feels samey. Like, they're all unique. Everything feels different, and the way you play will change depending on, you know, they call it the noob combo or whatever, which is the plasma pistol and then the Magnum. So you fully charge it, take off a shield, and then just pop them in the head. Easy. You can run around like that. Any gun is viable. There's no guns that aren't viable.
Yeah, and even in like multiplayer. I mean, I guess we'll talk a bit about multiplayer in the spoiler-free bit because you know, it is part of the game, and there's no spoilers in multiplayer. But I always felt like the multiplayer had, despite being quite an arcadey game, the multiplayer had some sort of innate balance to it. Like, you know, you can you know, snipe people with the sniper rifle, but you have to hit them in the head.
Yes.
To get a one-shot kill. Yeah. You sort of... There's enough vehicles that you feel like you're powerful, but everyone sort of has enough vehicles. But you can also most vehicles just shoot people out of them, so you don't actually have to destroy a whole vehicle. You can just shoot them out of the pilot seat.
There's nothing you'd really consider like OP or anything.
No.
For what it is, it's fantastically balanced. And fun. God, it is fun.
Yeah, well, as I said, the LAN parties of in the computer rooms and things that I've had at school. It was just good memories of like I can't remember too many of the maps, but I remember Blood Gulch.
Oh, Blood Gulch,
which is basically the Halo map. It's like the Halo map, and it is just a box canyon with two little bases at the end. That's all you really need. Yeah. And because it gives you a bit of freedom for your vehicles. And the other one I remember is, I think it was called Sidewinder, which is, I think, an ice one that's shaped like an arc. And there's, again, two bases at the end, but it's sort of icy.
Yeah.
And, those are the two that I remember. But it's like, the maps are just simple. They have, like, a few little hiding spots and stuff, but, like, you know, just in Team Slayer or something like that, it's or Capture the Flag's a good one.
Infection?
Is
Infection in first one?
I don't know if it's in the first one. I've not played any multiplayer.
We played a lot of that in Reach.
Yeah. So, but it's got a sort of, like I said, a weird, somehow it sort of always feels fair. You never feel like someone's being cheap.
No. And it holds up. It really holds up.
Yeah, you can play that multiplayer now, which you can on the Master Chief Collection, and it still feels good.
Good, yeah.
Okay, do you have any more thoughts?
I think I've said my piece. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll move on now to the history section in a minute, so we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with history. for listening to the Past Play Gaming podcast. We wanted to take this time to quickly give you some information about where you can find us and our Patreon page. Ben, you've got the info on that.
So on our Patreon page, we have 2 different tiers right now. We've got our $1 tier and our $5 tier. $1 backers will get to vote to determine what games we cover. $5 backers will get to determine the shortlist for this vote, and also see every episode of the Past Play Gaming podcast 1 week before everyone else.
Yeah, and that's at patreon.com/pastplaygaming.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is that if you're the very first $5 backer, you basically can just tell us what game to review straight up.
That's a really good point. Yeah. So you have all the power. Give us $5.
If you're the only one there for $5, you can just do whatever you want.
You want us to review Fortnite? That's what we're doing.
We'll try.
Give us $5.
Okay, so also we have a YouTube. The YouTube link is a very random complication string of characters, but it will be in the description of this and every other episode. I'm trying to do some stuff semi-regularly over there. So at time of recording, there's nothing up there apart from the trailer. All the podcast episodes will get fed onto there. And so I'm sort of semi-regularly looking to post some stuff up there. So if you want some different sort of maybe newer content on some of the new games that come out and maybe some extra analysis from the podcast, just check that out over there. And you can follow us everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at PastPlayGaming or /PastPlayGaming, whatever they have. And with that, we'll let you get back to the episode. So we'll see you then.
See ya.
Hello and welcome back to the Past Play podcast. We are talking Halo Combat Evolved today, and we're ready for the history section. So, Halo Combat Evolved was originally developed by Bungie Game Studios. I mean, since then, the remaster was done by 343 Industries, which basically took over when Bungie left Microsoft and split off on its own to do bigger and better things like make Destiny, yes. We can't talk about Destiny, but I know you want to.
I really do.
So basically, it began back in 1997. The game didn't obviously release until 2001, but a few Bungie devs were sort of playing around in the engine of the game they were making at the time, which was called Myth 2 Soul Blighter. Have you heard of Myth 2? I haven't heard of it. Hadn't heard of that before today. But they were messing around in that engine, which is sort of like it's an RTS, like real-time strategy game, but it's in like Viking type area or like sort of, some sort of not ancient, but like bit old-timey villagey type area. So they were making that game and they sort of were using the engine to try and do some 3D stuff, so they were trying to make a spacey type game, and they originally intended Halo to be an RTS as well. So they were sort of just on these maps, and you'd order your people around, as you do in.
We eventually got that.
Halo Wars. Yeah, Halo Wars. They were basically making Halo Wars, and then eventually they decided, that it would be better to sort of and more immersive to put it in that third person's perspective. They moved the camera down to sort of follow some of these units around. They thought, well, wouldn't it be better if you could actually do this, rather than just tell them where to go? It started there, and actually, it was they pitched it to Steve Jobs, as I hear, and he was ready to release it for Mac and PC and all these Microsofty, as an Microsoft thing, as an Apple thing. He's Apple, obviously, as an Apple thing, and that was back in 2000. I didn't even have a title at that point. And I've got a few of the proposed titles, so I'm interested to see what you think. So I'll go from like least crazy to most crazy. So we've got Star Maker.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
That's there, yeah. Star Shield.
Well, yeah.
Hard Vacuum.
I can... Yeah, more like a cleaning product than anything.
I'm not sure if that's really... That's a bit of an oxymoron, isn't it? A hard vacuum? Like...
Well, I'd call space a hard vacuum.
Well, it's a vacuum, but why is it hard?
Because once you're there, you're stuck.
Yeah, I guess. It's difficult. I guess it's difficult. Solipsis, I don't even know what that means, really.
That's a cool name.
It's a cool name, yeah.
I might steal it.
The Crystal Palace.
That's a fantasy thing.
It's also the name of a football team, so already taken.
All right.
And this one was my favourite one. The Santa Machine.
Can we pause the podcast? Why? Is there any reason?
Not that I saw. I mean, this was Wikipedia information.
The Santa Machine. Okay.
The Santa Machine. I'm not sure where they got that from.
Sure. All right.
And they hired someone to come up with a name. And the name they came up with, now this was a good name. The name they came up with was Covenant.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And I'm not sure if they already had the Covenant. I'm assuming that was why they named the Covenant, not that they... Because I would ask for my money back if you asked them, if you pay them to name it and they named it something that was already in the game.
Now, why don't you call it Master Chief?
Yeah, so that was the other thing. Master Chief wasn't named for a while. Originally he was just called The Cyborg.
That's a sick name.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Maybe some copyright issues with DC, but...
no. He's the Cyborg. Yeah, they're just Cyborg.
But then I think it was like one of the art people on the game or something just pitched Halo, and eventually it caught on. Yeah. Well, he did better than he didn't do better. I mean, the Covenant wasn't bad, but...
Halo, he walked into the room, so, it looks like a Halo.
It looks like Halo to me.
You got it.
You got it. So originally, when they were planning the release, they had lofty expectations. They had lofty goals. So they promised it was going to be an open world, which it was not.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Halo Infinite coming late 2020. I think it's meant to be.
Is this going to be open world?
Maybe.
So they promised it in 2000.
Look, these things
and they still didn't get there until 2020. Not even Halo, whatever 5 or whatever the last one was. They still were like, no, we don't need an open world.
You got to give these things time.
They said there would be persistent environment detail, which I think is which from what I read means like, if you shoot your gun, the shell casings will stay on the ground, and if you come back, they'll still be there. That would be hard.
Didn't notice that.
No, well, it wasn't in the game.
There you go.
They didn't do that. And I assume it would mean like structural damage and stuff would stay. I mean, that fits more with the open world theme because obviously, you need one for the other.
If you're going to blow up a building, the building should stay
destroyed when you come back. And the last one was variable weather. So, different weather cycles throughout the game. Well, they also didn't get that. This is a list of things they didn't have.
Yeah, I was going to say, they haven't ticked any of these boxes.
This is a list of promises they didn't make.
Steve Jobs should have turned them away.
Yeah. This is a list of things that they didn't put in the game. So, what actually changed... This was still a third-person game at this point. And what actually changed was, remember Myth 2 Soulblighter that I'd never heard of?
Yeah.
So, apparently, with Myth 2 Soulblighter, if you install the game to your hard drive's root directory, which that's a too old a term for me to understand fully. I generally get it.
I'm just nodding.
But if you did that, and then you uninstall it, it would also uninstall most of your computer.
Interesting.
So someone did this and were like, well, this didn't work. I've just uninstalled most of my computer. So they decided, they had a bit of a meeting and they said, well, installing it to the root directory, that's a bit weird. We could just let it out, release it, and then patch it later. And probably no one will actually do that. But they decided that they would tell everyone that they messed up. So they recalled the 200,000 copies that had already been printed. They obviously they had to cancel all their they had to pay fees because they didn't meet their release date with all these people that they were retailing with.
Yeah.
So in total that cost them $800,000. And that was what actually... It turned out to be a blessing in disguise because they were so poor that they had to get acquired by Take-Two first.
Oh, really? Okay.
Which, if you don't know about Take-Two, which you probably should, they own Rockstar and 2K.
Yeah.
So, two of the biggest studios going. So they got acquired by Take-Two, and then eventually they pitched to Microsoft to buy them. And what happened was Microsoft bought Bungie itself and the rights to Halo, which hadn't been released yet, so, it was a bit of a risk. And Take-Two got to keep all their other licenses, which was Myth and something called Oni.
Marathon.
Yeah, everything else, basically, they kept. So, Xbox, Microsoft, who were just starting Xbox, and they were looking for launch games, they basically decided to make Halo into their launch title, their biggest pillar.
Bloody decision.
And it worked. Well, yeah.
Goddamn.
So, and they were who decided it should be first person. So then they had to sort of, they had an idea and they had to turn it into a full game in sort of the next year-ish because it was June 2000 they were purchased by Microsoft. So, yeah, in the next year-ish they had to sort of make the game properly fit together. And that was, I think, that was sort of what inspired a lot of the open vistas and things and areas and stuff, and then that was then led to mission design. So despite... I've got to go back to Myth 2 for a second.
Okay,
so,
sure.
So even though this game wiped your hard drive when you uninstalled it...
PC Master Race.
I mean, the idea is just don't uninstall it, see? That was the plan all along. Keep this game.
Never get rid of it.
The game was actually really good, apparently. It got 88 on Metacritic, so...
It's not bad.
It was still good. So once they fixed it, they were fine, but... so that was all Take-Two's money now. But, yeah, so it ended up all right. But in the end, this bug could have been the reason we got the Halo that we got.
Good.
Yeah. So, I said before that Halo basically created Xbox.
Yeah.
And I looked at all the Xbox exclusives in the Xbox generation, and there were not many good ones.
What else we got?
So, obviously Halo 2 was the biggest seller. There was 2 other launch titles that are exclusive, and I've heard of one and not the other. I have not heard of Project Gotham Racing.
I've heard of it, but...
It doesn't have anything to do with Batman, does it? I didn't think so.
No.
But the thing about that is that it's a driving game, obviously, and driving games have a limited audience.
Yeah.
And the other one, which also has a limited audience, was Dead or Alive 3, which is a fighting game.
An interesting audience.
That was the next biggest. So, really, without Halo, Microsoft is struggling for mainstream appeal for the Xbox.
Yeah.
There was, Forza. The first Forza didn't come out until 2005, and that was that was the same year that the Xbox 360 came out. Forza was an Xbox title, but it was Xbox 360 by the end of that year.
When was Phase 1?
I don't think it was in Xbox generation. I believe it was in Xbox 360.
Yeah,
I looked at the list. Yeah. So, and so this was in 2001. We hadn't seen a console from an American company since the Atari Jaguar in 1996.
Yeah.
So they were taking a bit of a risk, in launching the Xbox, and without Halo, they were in a bit of trouble, I would say. But luckily, they had Halo.
Yeah.
And they basically changed first-person shooters with it.
Halo carried Xbox, hard carried Xbox to...
Halo carries Xbox to this day.
Yeah. Halo is still Xbox is still...
Yeah, it is their number
franchise.
One. Yeah. I think I saw $4.6 billion in Halo, everything Halo, the movie or whatever, all this stuff that they made. There was a Halo movie on Netflix, I believe.
Oh,
all this stuff.
It's not. Yeah, it's not a movie.
But everything that was associated with the franchise. Yeah. 4.6 billion in revenue they made.
That's pretty good
from everything Halo related.
That's about 2 Marvel movies.
Yeah. Well, yes, because I looked at the they were like, oh my god, Halo sold one 20 how much was it? Something like 8 million or something units or something. And then it didn't even make the top 50 of all time because all the current games make that.
Yeah.
But this is when gaming wasn't as big, I guess.
Yeah. No.
And also it was obviously a one console release, all the biggest games are multi-platform.
Now they are, yeah.
Yeah. So the other one the other thing I saw that Halo is basically credited for is the rise of machinima.
Yeah.
Red versus Blue,
yeah,
which is an amazing
I love Red
series.
Versus Blue. Yeah.
That was basically all created in the Halo. That was created in the Halo engine, and that was pretty much one of the first sort of uses of the game engines to make.
Red vs. Blue was Rooster Teeth's Halo. It carried Rooster Teeth up and gave them a platform.
Yeah. So it was basically the first big success of using gameplay footage or sort of to create animation as a way of creating animation.
I think machinima is really a thing of the past now. Good riddance.
Yeah, you don't see it as much anymore. I guess like a lot of people can just animate stuff now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that's about all I've got. Have you got anything else on history?
Not really. I know more about like post, you know.
You can talk about that if you want.
There's not much to say.
We'll do that when we get
a lot of my history comes from Destiny, but we're not going to talk about that. So.
We're gonna have to compartmentalize Destiny, or you won't stop talking about it.
No, I just know like post. Yeah, Bungie did 1, 2, 3,
and Reach. Yeah.
ODST.
Yeah.
I don't know if they did Wars.
I thought Pretty Daylight was 1, I don't know.
Yeah.
2010 was the split, so I'm not sure.
And then, they split and 343 came in and said, hey, this is ours now. 4, 5, Halo Wars 2.
Yeah, so I looked and there's, I don't know, these are all, I assume some of these are like weird games, like mobile games or something or whatever, but I counted 18 games in the 18? Halo series. Yeah, some of them, I mean, that's including ODST, Wars, all this stuff, but also some like weird ones that I'd never heard of. That are probably like mobile games or...
Halo 2, 3, 4, 5, ODST, Reach.
There's an ODST 2, isn't there?
No.
No? Okay.
Spartan Assault, Halo Wars 1 and 2.
Yeah, I had a list.
That'll do me. Yeah, I got it to about 10.
That's what I mean. There's... Yeah, some of them are a bit iffy. I think that included Infinite as well.
Oh, okay.
If you didn't count. But
11, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's it for history, I think. We're going to move on. So if you don't want to be spoiled on this 19-year-old game, this is your chance to back out. We're going to be doing spoilers.
19 years.
Right after this. Yeah, I mean, look, I managed to do it. Maybe you want to do it too. Maybe you want to wait another 19 years and play it again.
Don't do it then.
On the Xbox Series 20 or whatever they call it.
X squared.
Yeah, X squared. Yeah, maybe you want to play it then. So this is it. We'll be back after this short break, and we'll be talking spoilers through the story.
10 years ago, Halo changed the way we play video games. 10 years ago, Halo introduced millions of fans to an incredible new universe and delivered billions of hours of entertainment. That was 10 years ago. This is now. The campaign of the decade, remade and remastered. Combined with classic multiplayer maps, enhanced and updated for Xbox Live. A fully remastered campaign, co-op over Xbox Live, and 7 of the greatest multiplayer maps of all time.
Halo, it's finished.
No, I think we're just getting started.
Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary.
And we're back on the Past Play podcast. We are talking Halo Combat Evolved. This is the spoilers time. So again, we just told you before the break, but
watch out if you don't want
this game came out in 2001, and spoilers are coming.
Here we go.
So yeah, basically the story is broken up into 10 missions. We'll sort of run through each of them briefly. First one is the Pillar of Autumn.
Whoa. Sir? Right. Let's thaw him out. Okay. Bringing low-level systems online. Cracking the case in 30 seconds. He's hot! Blowing the pins in 5! Tube shows green. Cycle complete. Sorry for the quick thaw, Master Chief. Things are a little hectic right now. The disorientation should pass quickly. Welcome back, sir. We'll have you battle-ready stat.
And this is basically tutorial slash... Yeah, mostly tutorial, but...
They have that big tutorial section at the start. Where he's like, hey, Chief, look at these dots.
Yeah.
Do you like this?
I thought it was funny, right? So you come out of the pod and the dude's like, oh yeah, we've got to do some calibrations of your suit. Fair enough reason to do a tutorial. Yeah. Then you look at the dots and there's like 5 sort of arranging across. Yeah. And you do them and then he's like, I'm going to invert your looking controls. which
She's like, help!
He's like, what? How can you do this to me? How can you control the way I look? And then he's like, oh, do you prefer the looking controls to be inverted or regular?
No, stop.
I'm like, no, no one wants them to be inverted.
Oh, why would you play inverted?
I just thought it was weird that he's like, in canon, he's like, I'm going to reverse your looking controls. Is that cool?
Sorry, Chief, I'm going to screw with your eyes. No.
Yeah, so you do that, and then, of course, just as you already knew you were under attack by the Covenant thanks to the opening cutscene.
Thanks to Reach, mate.
Well, yeah, but Reach didn't exist when this started.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Did they even mention Reach in this game?
I doubt it. I don't think so.
Yeah, technically in canon, at the end of Reach, you flee to this point.
Yes.
But they don't mention that in this part. You're just already fleeing from the Covenant.
Yeah.
So which is why Master Chief's being woken up. So after your little tutorial, you get, the people that are trying to teach you get murdered by the Covenant, and you have to, conveniently, they get murdered up there where they can't get to you. So you're safe because you don't have a weapon. So.
Yeah. Wait, does he say that line in this game? Is that
which
what the one where he, I need a weapon?
No.
Oh, damn
I don't think, no, he didn't say
Halo
that.
2. Halo...
It must be Halo. I don't know. I haven't played any of the other ones either, so... I've played a bit of Halo Reach's campaign, but that's about it. So, yeah, you head out to find the bridge, which is a bit of a task. It's a bit of a labyrinth in there, in the Pillar of Autumn ship.
Yeah.
And you basically, learn to punch people. You learn to shoot people.
Learn to jump.
You learn to jump.
Hey, Chief, jump over this fallen
jump
thing.
over this pole. And you learn about your shields, all this stuff. There's health packs conveniently placed around the world. Mechanics. Yeah, just learning the gameplay. And there's a few token Covenant there, so it's not too bad. You make it basically to the bridge, and you find Captain Keyes, who basically says that Cortana, who is like your AI, was she the reason that Cortana is Cortana, like on your phone?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. That's something that Halo did for us. They gave us Cortana.
Thanks,
so Cortana, she could have been called anything, right? But
we already got Siri and Alexa. Didn't we need Cortana?
Well, Microsoft needs something for their phones.
I guess, yeah, no. Cortana
it could have been called anything. At least Cortana's a reasonably cool name.
Could have called it Solipsis or whatever.
Yeah, we could have called it the Santa Machine.
Holiday or whatever.
We could have called it the Santa Machine. So yeah, you find Cortana basically has like all the info that the Covenant would need to get to Earth or something. So you'd like download her into your head, and Captain Keyes decides to go down with the ship.
Yeah,
which I thought meant he was going to die but no, he's just going to land it carefully somewhere else.
Yeah,
he's just going to crash it somewhere else while you take a escape pod. So this is probably where you get 50% of the Master Chief dialogue in the game, which is about 4 lines. He doesn't say much
in this game.
He says almost nothing, and most of the lines he does say are inane pointlessness.
He's kind of dumb in this game. He's just an idiot in Halo.
Yeah, he's a bit dumb. Like, I always imagined Halo, because like I said, I never played it. I always thought Master Chief was like super cool guy, but like
he's cool.
He's reasonably cool, but he's a bit of an idiot, and he has nothing to say. Like,
oh, you don't need anything to say if you're cool enough.
I guess. I mean, the only line I remember is just as you have to run to the escape pod, and he just goes, "Punch it."
Yeah, that's a sick line.
That's about all he can say. That's about all he has to say. So that's the only other line I remember is later on he just goes, "I don't understand."
Yeah,
that's basically sums up Master Chief in this game. Punch it, and I don't understand.
Dumb in this game, isn't he?
Yeah. So I don't know why. I don't know if they just like I feel bad for the guy that was like, hey, we're going to make you the protagonist of this game. You're the voice actor for this protagonist.
You're the main character.
You're the main character. He's like, oh, yes, this is my big break. Yeah, you have 12 lines. Oh, okay, I guess.
He gets better.
Spark Boy has more lines than you.
Oh, 343.
Really?
Spark,
there's really only... I mean...
Sergeant Johnson says... Does Sergeant Johnson talk much in this one?
Not a heap, but... Well, he does in that video you watched. That's what I was going to say. The generic Marine in the video that you watch his video cam, he probably has more lines than Master Chief. And he's only in the game for 5 minutes, and he was already dead when you got there.
I mean, making no references to any other games, your AI companion really does most of the speaking for you. And, like... So Cortana is mainly your voice.
Cortana talks with you most of the time in this game.
Yeah.
There is a bit where you're with Sparky Boy. But, yeah, apart from that, yeah, it's mostly Cortana just talks and tells you what to do.
Yeah.
Which I guess is sort of... I mean... I feel like silent protagonists were a thing more back then in the, early 2000s.
Kind of. I think the thing about making Master Chief mostly silent is that you can be Master Chief, right?
Yeah, I get that. And I get that in a, say, an RPG or something like, well, not Fallout because you get to make dialogue decisions, but there are plenty of games where you don't say stuff and the dudes are just like, oh, the silent type, eh? And then you get to be your own thing. But it's like, if you're gonna do that, just make him silent. Like, they gave him like 12 lines. It's like just to prove that he can talk.
Yeah, but if you don't give him any lines, then he has nothing. Like the whole franchise, he's then got nothing.
Well, yeah,
you can't build a franchise off a silent guy. Really?
Yeah, but is this really the building blocks for one of the biggest characters ever?
Yes.
Punch it.
Yes. It tells you everything you need to know about him. He's straight and to the point.
Punch it, and I don't understand.
He's an idiot. Man of action, but he doesn't understand a lot. He just, he
just shoots things.
That's all you need.
Yeah,
Gets the job done.
I mean, it's a bit like, Doom Guy doesn't talk.
Doom Guy does not talk, no.
But that's what I mean. It's like, I feel like they needed to pick a lane here. Like, if he was going to talk, at least make him talk a lot and make him iconic.
Doom Guy has nothing, though. Doom Guy has no... There is no story to
Doom Guy's coming back now.
Yeah,
with new Doom.
But he still doesn't say anything. He doesn't say anything Doom 2016.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. See, that game still works even though he doesn't say anything.
Yeah, but you can't have, there's no character. You can have a story, sure, but you can't... Doom Guy is just a vessel, right?
Yeah, I guess. All I'm saying is if you're going to go one way, you should go all in. If they were going to make him talk, just make him talk. Have conversations with Cortana, not just Cortana tells you what to do when you go do it.
You don't want him to be like a blabbermouth, well, all right, Cortana, what should I do now?
Cortana's
Cortana on board.
I don't think he talks in cutscenes. Outside of cutscenes. He doesn't talk outside of cutscenes at all. Cortana never shuts up during the missions, but you don't say anything back. I don't know. It was just something I thought was.
He's nervous. Weird. He's shy. There you go.
I thought he was cool.
Yeah, you can be cool and shy at the same time.
He's cool, shy, and dumb. That's a good combination. Dumb in both senses of the word.
He's alright. He's a good guy.
Okay, so where was I up to? Oh, that was the end. That's the end of the Pillar of Autumn, the first mission. So you basically, you punch it. That's what I... Yeah, that's the end of the mission.
You walk through, kill some
you basically backtrack
punch
it the way you came.
Yeah.
And you learn how to use your completely pointless flashlight, which you barely ever use apart from this first mission.
That's in the game, eh? Yeah.
You have a flashlight with a battery, and you barely use it except in this first game. The first mission, sorry.
I don't think it's in any of the other games.
That's because they realised it was dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason you might need it later on is because they have such terrible lighting physics, for later, which we get to now, because once you leave the ship, you land on actual Halo itself, and you discover that the ground is just green texture, and the rocks are just grey texture.
I don't know how you put up with the... I had to the graphics.
I'm trying to get the, this is the game we're reviewing. But... It's actually quite a genius feature, the toggle, that you can just toggle between.
Oh, so good. Yeah.
Between the old view and the new view, because they didn't change anything actually about the physics of the game. All the objects still have the same collision.
They just rounded. They just look better.
Yeah, they rounded everything, and they actually put textures on these blank canvases that were the walls and stuff. Like the walls of the ship were just blue panel, or grey blue panel sort of thing, where they've actually put rivets and things actually on it to give it a reason to exist.
Yeah.
But for the time, the textures look fine.
You have to look at it in the context.
You have to look at it in context. Yeah, I am annoyed by the lighting, which I mean, it's just like the first, like this mission on Halo, which is Halo is the name of the second mission. You land, and the only reason I knew it was daytime was because I changed to the other view. Like I thought it was dark it was so dark. Like I thought it was nighttime.
I don't remember playing it. Like, I don't remember having many issues with lighting.
I mean, not because, like, it's not that I couldn't see. It's just that it looked like it was nighttime because there was so little light coming in, like, to actually light up the ground sort of thing. Actually, on a side note, on that, the switching, that was actually, like, a developer thing, apparently. Like, they were just using that to develop the game. They're like, all right, we'll switch here. Okay, this is what this looks like. Switch back and do it. And then they're like, oh, we could just put this in the game. That would be a thing.
Pretty good.
So, yeah, I mean... It's something that really, I think, any game that gets remastered should think about.
It really makes you appreciate... If they had have given you just the new one and said, here you go, here's a new game, cool. You'd be like, it still looks kind of, it's a little bit ugly. But being able to contrast it with the really ugly, you're like, man, they really went hard.
It proves that they actually worked on it.
They cared.
Because the thing about these types of games, too, is it's like... if you played this in 2001 and then in 2011 they released this remake and they just gave you the new graphics, you wouldn't be like, it looked like this anyway, because this is how you remember it. You remember like it looking really good.
Oh, I went back and played Ratchet and Clank a while back. Ugly. Yeah. So ugly.
Yeah, so you... Obviously everyone dies in your escape pod. They don't die on screen though. There's just like a black flash and then Cortana's like, oh my god, Chief, you're okay, you're awake. And you're just standing there like...
He's got the gelator in his suit.
Yeah, but you're not even like... She implies that you were like unconscious and you just got up, but you're just standing there.
You're just having a nap.
You didn't have to get up on
just
camera.
Just standing up.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean... Oh, that was the other thing the Monster Chief did, I forgot. When you're in the escape pod, she's like... Oh, you should probably find a seat, man. We're going to crash. He's like, no, it's fine. Just stands in the center of the pod. And I mean, it worked because when you spawn in the second level, he's standing in the exact center of the pod, exactly where he was standing. He was not moved at all by this crash.
Good balance.
So, yeah, the objective of this second mission is you basically just have to recover the Marines.
You got to drive to 3 separate areas?
Yeah, you walk to the first one, and then the plane. What is the planes called?
Banshees.
No, the ones that you have.
Oh, the Pelicans.
The UNSC plane. Pelicans. Yeah, Pelican rocks up and drops you a Warthog that you then take to the other 2 locations to recover more of the troops that have been lost. This is sort of the first open-ish area, and you can technically do the second 2 in any order, I believe. The second 2 groups. Yeah. Well, they might actually... Oh, no, you might be right. There's 3 groups after the first. I think. Yeah.
Yes.
I think so there's technically 4 groups because you walk to the first one and then there's 3 groups that you have to drive to. So, yeah, you basically just recover them for the mission. There's a bunch of enemies. There's sort of a lot of generic structures that become a big part of the multiplayer. Like there's that thing that's sort of... It's got like an interior and it's also got ramps on both sides and like a big... Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. But it's... Yeah, it's...
Is this the biggest map?
It's possible. The cartographer map's pretty big.
Oh,
and some of the maps in the later ones...
No, I think Assault on the Control Room is like... That map's big.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's so... A lot of that is reused, isn't it? Yeah. That one wraps in on itself so much.
Some of the... I think in the second... Or in 2 Betrayals, maybe, I think, there's... It's sort of more enclosed than this, but there is a lot of... Like, you go a long way. And you mostly fly it, so it doesn't feel as big. But yeah, so you basically just recover the dudes and then you're out. And then you go to the third mission, which is Truth and Reconciliation, which... Are either of those the name of the ship? What is the name of the ship you get on the Covenant ship? Or is it just called Covenant ship?
Oh.
I don't think it has a name. Maybe it doesn't have a name.
Is it not called?
Maybe it's called Reconciliation, but that sounds like a pretty friendly name for an enemy ship.
Yeah, for a Covenant ship too.
So you spawn in this mission. You get on the Pelican at the start of the last mission, and you get off it here. You've changed weapons, and it's now nighttime.
Yeah.
So you have a sniper rifle for some.
That's what that
arbitrary
flashlight comes in handy.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell the difference.
Truth and
really.
Reconciliation was a Covenant battle cruiser.
It's called both.
That's what it's
Okay.
called, yeah. So.
Okay. I mean, again, sounds a bit honourable for your enemy to be naming their ship.
What, you
I
saying
mean,
they're
everyone's
not-
the hero of their own story, but...
Yeah, you can't demonise them.
Yeah, well, I mean, they are the enemy. Although, they're almost sympathetic by the end of the game.
They refer to you as demon in, like, Halo 2 onwards, because they think, man, screw this Master Chief guy.
Yeah, I mean, he murdered a bunch of
I
dudes.
hate this guy.
Although, no one would ever know about that, to be fair, because everyone dies by the end.
Not the Arbiter.
I don't know about that.
No.
I got no idea what happens after the end of this
need to play
game.
the other Halos.
Yeah, I need to play other games to know this. So, yeah, you're in technically an arbitrary stealth, but like when I played this, I was playing it with you, and I literally it's like they tell you to go up on the ridge to snipe people, and I took one step on the ridge and they saw me immediately.
Yeah.
So it's not like I even did anything. I was slowly walking up there and crouch, and he saw me immediately. So it's like there's not really much stealth going on. Also, none of your weapons are silent, so as soon as you fire, that's it. So, I mean, it's not the best stealth.
No.
Yeah. This is also where you find active camouflage for the first time, which is
Okay, yeah.
stealth related. I mean, it's the first time I found it. I think it's the first time. I didn't see it in either of the other missions. Which basically just lets you backstab people because you're invisible.
You're invisible.
Yeah. Which also, note, they don't actually have the proper backstab animation in Halo 1. Like,
No,
you can execute people in
one hit
following
punch
it. It's just always a one-hit punch in the back, except on Flood. But, in future games, you actually do a backstabbing assassinate animation, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So there's not a huge amount here. You basically are getting on the ship, the Truth and Reconciliation ship, to like find Captain Keyes, who'd been recovered by the Covenant after he landed his ship somewhere on the ring. So this is another bit where you get lost a lot because it's very samey in the ship.
Yes,
like all the corridors look the same.
The mission's broken up into before ship and then on ship. And before ship is fine, it's all linear. But then you get on the ship and it's, all these corridors that all interlink. So, I mean...
And there actually are a few dead ends. Like,
it's not difficult to find the way by any means, but it is like, it's not... Which I respect it more than just being like, oh, okay, on this ship we only have one path.
You need to have more than one path.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they also have a lot of arbitrarily just locked doors, which
yeah.
explains that there's other parts of the ship that you're not visiting. Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of dead ends where, like, especially at the end where you're trying to find the captain himself, you're like, you can go into a bunch of different prison areas and none of them are actually the one that has him in them.
We ended up in separate prison areas, didn't we?
Yeah, we ended up in separate prison areas, and because I thought I was going the right way, because he's like, oh, we need to search him.
I got chased by the Sword Elite, and it didn't go so well.
Yeah, so you find him, and he basically says he can understand what the Covenant is saying.
They do speak English. Sometimes.
I've never heard them do anything but go,
yeah, they do go, whop, whop, whop. Like,
I mean, I don't know how he decoded that into saying Halo is a weapon that we must recover.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've never heard them talk.
Give me a spin-off game with Keys where he learns the language.
Yeah, it's like a spin-off where you have to learn the language. So he basically tells you that Halo, which is like the whole ring itself, is some sort of weapon, and the Covenant want to secure it. Mm-hmm. So that sends you off into your next mission, which is the Silent Cartographer, which, despite having played it at least 10 times on the demo, I didn't remember any of it. I mean, it's very generic, like you're just on a beach.
It's just Circle Island.
It's a circle island, yeah.
Yeah, and then... But there's like 2 or 3 different areas that have an actual in-depth building that you go in and
you go down and have to you're looking for the map that shows you where the control room is for the Halo.
Yeah.
Place. So, I mean, there's not much to say here. I mean, it's just generic video game stuff. Like, you go down there, and then they shut a door, so you have to go back the other way and find some way to open the door, and then go down, just to sort of elongate the time until you actually get in there. We did say, we were discussing, you can actually... I think you can block the door or kill the guy that's going to close the door. I saw in a walkthrough that if you bring your car down there and drive it into the doorway, you can't shut it on you.
That's pretty funny.
So, I mean, I feel like it was really tight down there. I don't know how you get your car down there, but apparently you can. So it's something like that. But it's just sort of, it's to extend the game a bit longer. And I thought this was the first time we saw Sword Elite. Maybe not.
No, he definitely chased me on the ship.
Yeah. Oh, there's stealth elites, definitely, on the ship, which are a bit irritating. I mean, they're not super... Like, they are stealthy, but, like, you can sort of... Obviously, you can see the shimmer.
Yeah.
As most stealth things are. Yeah, so you just sort of find the map, and then that's it for this mission. There's not much to be said.
Yeah, find the map, get up, get out. Next mission into Assault on the Control Room, which is... I mean, as the name of the mission implies, you are finding the Halo control room.
And launching an assault.
This one is such a... It's such a samey mission. It's just...
Yeah, I forgot most of this.
The bridges all look the same.
There's double bridges everywhere.
Yeah. And then the rooms all look identical as well. So you go in, you circle around these rooms, and then you go out a door, only to end up in a room that looks identical to this.
Yeah, and then you're like, was this you go around and you're like, oh, I'm lost now. Was this the door that I came in?
Yeah.
Or like, oh, do I have to leave this way? Or yeah. So I basically, when I was doing my notes for this, I basically forgot this mission and put in all the notes from the following mission because I just completely forgot.
Yeah.
All this, it's so forgettable. And I mean, it's not like this is the only time you go through those exact same rooms. You go through rooms that look exactly the same later on as well.
Is this... When's the tank bit? Is that...
There's a tank in this mission, yeah. There's the tank. It's the only time you get the tank, isn't it? In this game.
Is there not one in 2 Betrayals?
Not that I remember. Maybe there is, but I didn't write it down. But yeah, it's weird. Like they've got I mean, I guess obviously they were planning multiplayer as well, but like some of these vehicles you barely see, like...
Yeah.
There's no mongoose in this one either, though, which is a bit disappointing.
In the whole game?
I don't think so. I didn't see a mongoose. I mean, the mongoose would be pretty useless anyway. I mean, because... you do get your generico dudes, but sometimes they give you a warthog and you don't have any dudes with you, and that's one of the most pointless things in Halo, having a warthog without any people to man the gun.
It's still a good battering ram.
Yeah, it's a good battering ram, but yeah. So it's very... this one's long, but it's very generic. Just you're heading through the snow, you're heading through the buildings... same areas, and you eventually get there, and then I've written Cortana tells you to find keys. I'm not sure why. Oh, she tells you this is where she tells you a bunch of stuff and you go, I don't understand.
Yeah.
And then she just tells you there's no time to explain, you must leave.
You must find keys. But
then you don't find keys.
What's Keys currently doing?
I don't know. He just told you to go find Halo, and then that was about it.
Something with the Flood?
He's currently being murdered by the Flood, probably, but I don't know why. Yeah, but you go... The next mission, you don't find keys. You find Sparky Boy instead.
Yes. Well, I mean, Keys was there.
Yeah. Was he...
He was in the cutscene.
Was he with the kid in the cutscene, was he? Oh,
because he just rocks up and he's just like, hey, dude, don't run away.
I missed that part, probably. Yeah. Or maybe I didn't, and I just... Oh, yeah, is he talking in the plane? Is he the one that's talking? And not...
In the plane?
Because it starts in the plane, remember, and then before you fast forward the first time.
No, isn't that Sergeant Johnson?
I thought they were both talking. Maybe I'm wrong. Alright. Yeah, so the Assault on the Control Room, average mission.
Long, winding.
It's filler mission.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they could have just decided to put the control room at the bottom of the silent cartographer bit, really.
Yeah.
There was enough stuff going on there.
Could have.
Then we got 343 Guilty Spark, which I don't know why it's called that. That's confuses me.
Because he rocks up at the end. He comes at the end.
You've also got to do with any of these things. No, I get that bit. But why is he called... He's not called 343 Guilty Spark in the game.
Is he not?
I don't think so. They call him the Monitor most of the time. They call him the Monitor throughout the game.
But he is... His name is 343 Guilty Spark.
Yeah, but I don't think that's ever said in the game.
Doesn't he introduce himself like
he
that?
might.
Like, I am 343 Guilty Spark.
Greetings. I am the Monitor of Installation 04. I am 343 Guilty Spark. Someone has released the Flood. My function is to prevent it from leaving this installation, but I require your assistance. Come, this way.
Oh, maybe once at the end.
I think he's... Yeah.
But everyone just calls him the Monitor throughout.
Yeah.
I don't know. And why 343?
Because there's a billion others.
Also, why guilty? Foreshadowing?
Who knows? Well, Halo 3 spoilers?
I don't know. Look, these are probably... I'm sure there's plenty of people going like, oh my god, how do you not know about this?
You kill him in Halo 3. That's a spoiler. You kill Guilty Spark in Halo 3.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I didn't know we were spoiling other games.
I'm sorry.
This one's sort of a weird pseudo-horror mission.
Yeah, I'd call it.
Because you're heading in and there's a bunch of murdered people everywhere, and then you have to watch,
what's going on?
Then you basically watch found footage of,
Except you're really good at
horror house.
fast-forwarding to
Yeah,
the
you're really good at
moments.
fast-forwarding, because you, listen to some dialogue, and then you fast-forward to the next perfectly, interesting point through everything else immediately.
He doesn't rewind at all. He doesn't miss any words.
Yeah, he just fast-forwards right to the start of the next scene. So you do that a couple of times, and then you find out they all got murdered by flood, which are basically tree people or
zombies.
Yeah, but they're all green,
Just
they've been infected
parasite zombies.
Yeah, I guess parasites. Yeah, it's probably more accurate.
Yeah,
but I guess because they're in a swamp, I made me think they were tree people. But
tree people,
obviously they're zombie type deal, but
they're just
tree people.
No,
that's how I read it. They're tree people.
I mean, everyone interprets art in their own way, I suppose.
Yeah, it's open to me. Yeah, so they're called the Flood because they flood at you.
Sure.
There's a few different units of them. There's little tiny guys who.
There's the little bug ones that infect you, and then there's the actual. Yeah, they what turn.
Yeah, but they can't infect you, can they? Master Chief. No,
you Master Chief do not.
They can infect general people.
Yeah.
No, but I thought maybe if they hit you when you had no shield, you could start to lose health or something.
You think this game's fancy enough for that?
No, that's what I thought. They're pretty pointless. They just take it. They take the minusculest amount of shield if they hit you. I mean, they come in a bit of a swarm, but also if you shoot one, they'll all explode.
They just all pop. Yeah.
Yeah. Chain reaction it, and then there's sort of just generic punch and at this point there's only punch and dudes. I think there's many with guns. Maybe at the end of this mission there's a few with guns.
I think the infected elites punch and the infected UNSC shoot.
Yeah. So you go down to this facility, you find the Flood, you leave this facility, and you head into the swamp and you find Sparky Boy.
Why do you keep calling him that?
Because I don't want to call him the Monitor. That sounds boring.
I will call him Guilty Spark.
Yeah, Sparky Boy's his name. So the next one's the library, which is the worst mission in the game.
Oh my god!
So, in the Master Chief Collection, and each mission gives you a part-time, which is,
a poor recommendation.
I think we need to have a bit of a chat with 343 Industries about the definition of par.
If you're playing on easy and you just leg it through the whole damn level,
you'll
be in this time.
Yeah, I don't know. That's not what I call par. See, par is a term for average. So, what they're basically telling me is if I don't do it in this time, I'm below average.
Yes, if you play this on any difficulty above normal or easy, you are an idiot and you'll never beat this time.
Yeah, it's not good, this mission. You wander again, lots of identical corridors following Sparkman.
This one goes forever.
It goes for ages. You follow Sparkman. Flood are everywhere. You have no backup most of the time. You randomly, arbitrarily have sentinels that shoot for you, but they leave half the time, and you've got literally just Flood coming from everywhere, mostly infinitely respawning.
Yes.
It's bad.
It's not a fun mission.
No, it sucked. Really... I died so many times on this mission.
Yeah?
Well, not so well. I only played on normal, but I died a lot of times. And I'll tell you why in the next mission, because it was even more irritating to me in the next mission.
Oh, no.
The reason that I died.
When I did my playthrough, I think I might have, I don't know. I did it on Heroic or Legendary. There's an achievement for finish the library without dying on Heroic or Legendary.
Huh.
I got near the end and then died and.
Yeah.
This is the worst mission.
I died a lot of times. But basically the story of this mission is that the library... Is it the library or is it the whole of Halo? I think it's just the library. That's the facility that's supposed to contain and study the Flood for some reason, because people love to study infectious diseases.
Yeah. Is the library the host to the that key thing?
Yeah, that's where you go. Yeah. You went... The whole reason you went in there was to get the key that activates the control room, so you can... I don't know, it's an orb of some description, I believe. No, it is called a key. It's something. It starts with P, as it come to me, but...
Nope.
No, I don't know what it's called, but it's like a key that you put into the control panel to activate the thing, to activate the Halo defenses to kill. He tells you it's to activate the defenses to kill the flood.
I bet he does.
Yeah.
Guilty ass Spark.
Guilty Spark man. So yeah, that's about all you do. He slowly explains this to you while also just like leaving most of the time to let you fight the flood. He's like, you get to a door and he's like, all right, I'll be back later. You just stay here until I come back. Okay, bye. And yeah, so it's bad mission.
Not a good one.
Next mission is called 2 Betrayals. I'm going to look like an idiot here again. Mm-hmm. Sparky Boy's the first betrayal. Mm-hmm. What's the second? It's called 2 Betrayals. Like, I couldn't think of another betrayal. So, okay. So you start off, you go to the console,
look this up,
and you go to put the key into the console.
You have no idea how this ring works, do you? Why the Forerunners built it? Halo doesn't kill Flood. It kills their food. Humans, Covenant, whatever. We're all equally edible. The only way to stop the Flood is to starve them to death. And that's exactly what Halo is designed to do. Wipe the galaxy clean of all sentient life. You don't believe me? Ask him.
Is it true?
More or less. Technically, this installation's pulse has a maximum effective radius of 25,000 light years. But once the others follow suit, this galaxy will be quite devoid of life. Or at least any life with sufficient biomass to sustain the flood. But you already knew that. I mean, how couldn't you?
Left out that little detail, did he?
We have followed outbreak containment procedure to the letter. You were with me each step of the way as we managed this crisis.
Chief, I'm picking up movement.
Why would you hesitate to do what you've already done?
We need to go right now.
Last time you asked me, if it were my choice, would I do it? Having had considerable time to ponder this query, my answer has not changed. There is no choice. We must activate the ring.
Get us out of here.
If you are unwilling to help, I will simply find another. Still, I must have the index. Give your construct to me, or I will be forced to take her from you.
That's not going to happen.
So be it. Save his head. Dispose of the rest.
And you go to do it, and then somehow Cortana has it in her hand because she's in the previous mission when you left her in the control room to do all this stuff, and she's like inside the AI of it. So she somehow picks up the virtual key and now has it like in her hand, even though she's an AI. And then Sparkman's like, "Oh no, what are you doing? You got to activate the thing." And then she's like, "Well, what he didn't tell you.
You are a liar."
Is that the activating Halo will kill the Flood by killing all their food source, which is every living thing in the galaxy.
The 2 betrayals are the Chief betrays Guilty Spark and Spark betrays the Chief.
What? Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah.
That's so dumb.
Spark is like, nah man, do it, trust me. And Chief's like, nah, I don't want to be the Reclaimer. I will not accept this mantle.
What? No, but the Chief's like, okay, puts the thing in the console, and Cortana's like, hell no, you're going to kill everyone. And he's like, I don't understand.
That's because Chief is dumb.
Yeah, but he didn't betray him at all. He did exactly what he said. And
I
then
don't know, man. The Halo.bungie.net forums just told me that it's...
I think this is a poorly named mission. There is only one betrayal, in my opinion.
You can't the mission doesn't sound as cool if one person betrayal.
It's called betrayal.
You're like, oh, okay.
If one person betrays the other, then you can't then also have the betrayee then also betray the betrayer. They were both, like, it all happened at the same... You could if it was like one betrayed the other, then they became friends again, then the other one betrayed him back. But it just happened at the exact same time. Like, it was the same action that caused both of these betrayals, apparently.
If someone like went to shoot you, but you'd like already filled the gun with like a gag, that's 2 betrayals. Right? They're trying to kill you, but you've pranked them.
That's not really 2 betrayals.
I'd say you've betrayed them.
You're actually...
Okay, what if you tell them...
You didn't betray them because you were right to do that.
What if you tell them, hey, I want to die, I want you to kill me, and they want to, and they're like, alright, sick, and nothing. That's 2 betrayals.
I mean... Yeah, but isn't that still only 1 betrayal? Wait, are they killing you because they want to betray you? But if they kill you because they told you, because you told them to, then that's not a betrayal, they're doing what you asked.
What if they hear this information from a third party? 3 betrayals.
What they would have to do is want to kill you anyway.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm fine.
But then you'd have to... But I don't know.
2 betrayals. Anyway,
let's move on from two betrayals. So
anyway, Guilty Spark's a liar.
Yeah, he betrayed you once.
Yes, and then you betrayed him.
No, you didn't betray him. And then you try and kill him. I mean, I think he actually says to you, "Oh my god, you betrayed me," but it's like
that sounds right.
He's an evil guy. Like you didn't actually betray him. So my next dot point after Sparkboy betrays you is lots of dying, because that was me. Lots of dying. And this is where I'll tell you why I died a lot of times in the previous mission, and a lot of times in this mission. Rocket launcher flood. There are flood that have rocket launchers that just immediately kill you in one hit. It is the stupidest thing in the entire game.
Forgot about that.
You'd go through all this, you kill a bunch of dudes, and then a rocket launcher flood just walks around the corner, one-shots you immediately.
Bit stupid.
It's dumb.
Bit dumb. But this is two betrayals.
This is two betrayals, yes. So basically what you're doing here is you're just... Again, there's a lot of sameness. You go into these circle rooms again, but you're trying to, like, deactivate 3 reactors or something of some description. Pulse generators, I believe they're called.
Yeah.
Which, I'm not exactly sure why you're doing this. I think it's something to do with his plan. He was trying to activate it anyway. Sparkman, he's trying to activate... He's trying to activate Halo anyway, and you're trying to take away his power source. Or something of that description. So you basically, there's a lot of Banshee flying around, there's a lot of dying to rocket launcher flood, as I mentioned. There's a lot of... I think this is the first time you see Flood and Covenant fighting each other. Yes. Which is a lot of this mission is you... A lot of this mission is you rocking up as the third party into an already happening fight.
They don't fight in the Guilty Spark level, do they? Oh, they do. They do.
No, is there any...
There is a bit.
There's a little bit. Well, yeah, this is a lot of Covenant... Oh, yeah, there is a little bit, you're right. This is basically every fight as you rock up and there's Covenant and Flood fighting each other.
Yeah.
And I believe at the end of this mission is when you find out that the Covenant want to leave, but one of their ships has crashed and they're afraid that the Flood will be able to get it working. I mean, I don't think the Flood are smart enough to get anything working, but...
The Flood have a grave mind. Or a hive mind. Which tells them what to do. So
so they're afraid that they're going to get it working and leave, so they're trying to kill them all and then leave themselves. The Covenant are trying to do that.
Yeah.
So, which sort of, to me, makes the Covenant a little bit more sympathetic in that they actually don't care about you that much. They just wanted to leave, but they want to kill the Flood first. Like, they don't want to let the Flood out.
No. Yeah, because, I mean, the Flood are a problem for them, too.
Yeah, the Flood are a problem for everyone. So, but, like, I mean, they do want to kill you, but it's a secondary goal.
Are good. They're fine. Another spoiler, you end up working with the elites in, like, Halo 3. Like, so
Cool. Well, that's what I mean. I guess they're setting that up here, that they're sort of not out-and-out evil.
No.
So, yeah, you basically you fly a bunch of Banshees around, you go to all these different places. There's a lot more bridges. There's a lot more circular rooms.
Yes, yeah.
And you deactivate these things. There's a slight gimmick with these generators, which is when you stand next to them, your shield goes down, but it basically automatically regenerates almost immediately. So it's also like, doesn't really matter that much.
No.
And that's the end. And then at the end, Cortana's like, we need to get keys for some reason. So I'm going to teleport you away, but... it may kill you or something. Like, I'm not really sure how to do it properly, so we should only do it one time. Otherwise, that's just so you can't teleport everywhere, which is it would be useful later on. So she teleports you once, and then you arrive on the Truth and Reconciliation again, upside down because she's bad at teleporting, and you fall and hit the ground. And I called this filler mission because. You arrive on the ship, Key says, don't come for me, in really, he goes, don't come for me, in really weak, and you're like, screw it, I'm coming anyway, but you don't actually say that because you don't talk during in-game.
You'd probably just say, punch it.
Punch it.
Cortana says, screw it, I'm coming, yeah, you see a dude and you're like, punch it.
Punch it.
That's what I need to do.
And then, does anything happen? You find keys at the end.
You basically just wander through the ship that you've already been through once because they're recycling levels.
Yeah.
And you get to one of the rooms and Keys was quite right to tell you not to come because he's been turned into like a flood.
He's flood monster now.
He's been flood monstered.
And then
he's not like a monster that attacks you. He's just sort of like strung up.
He's becoming flood or something?
He's strung up. He's got a massive thing. He's bigger than any flood you've seen, which is a massive like...
He's just like a wall of crap.
Yeah.
And then Chief says to himself, punch it.
Punch it.
Punch it,
And then
and he
beats
punches
the shit out of
his
him.
face, yeah. I mean, that was in a cutscene, but he still didn't say it. He still didn't have any. He didn't get any lines in that cutscene either.
He knew it, though. He knew what was happening.
Yeah, he knew he had to punch it.
Punch it.
Yeah.
And then we're on to... So then you basically backtrack all the way back out of the ship again, and you're on to the last mission.
The more.
Yeah.
This is the best mission.
This is the best mission.
I love this mission.
I was just following up on the last mission. You conveniently, you head to the hangar bay, and conveniently 2 banshees rock up and land next to you.
Pretty convenient.
So you kill both the dudes and then just steal one.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know what your plan was to get out otherwise, but...
Run.
Yeah. Run. I think it's in space still, isn't it?
Oh, he's got the gel armor layer.
Yeah.
He just jump.
Yeah. Does he?
In Halo 3, he jumps and lands on Earth from a ship.
He can't do that in this suit, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's the same suit,
Oh, okay.
really.
Well,
It's
I thought they might
much the
upgrade it.
same.
Yeah, the last mission, which is again mostly recycled level, because you're mostly on the ship again.
Yeah, not as much.
Not the Truth and Reconciliation, to be clear, the Pillar of Autumn, which is your ship.
Yeah.
Because her last plan now is to destroy the entire Halo
Blow up
itself.
the Pillar of Autumn. We'll blow
Yeah.
up Halo, which will, everything.
So yeah, you head to the bridge first. Again, this is a lot like the Cartographer, where there's arbitrary things getting in your way. So you head to the bridge first, and you're about to do it, and Sparkman turns up.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hell no," and deactivates it. And then you have to go to the engines and just deactivate them manually.
That's a bit painful.
Yeah, so you have to walk all the way to engineering. I hated deactivating them manually.
Yeah.
It was crap.
The
Because
whole
you have to climb up this thing,
grenades
and then you have to throw a grenade in the vent.
Yeah.
But the vent doesn't not accept grenades. It's not. You can throw a grenade right on that vent, and it will not blow it up.
Not great.
And then during this, Cortana just offhandedly said to me, "Oh, if you run out of grenades, there's some grenades here in this place." And I'm like, "What place? What? Where?" She's like, "There's some grenades in the armory or something," which maybe had to leave all of engineering to do that, to find that spot. But I thought it was just somewhere in the area. So I wandered around everywhere. I couldn't find any. So I just kept killing people until they dropped more grenades.
Yeah.
Because
This one's painful. This bit is painful, but the end of the level more than makes up for it.
Yeah. So I spent a lot of time climbing up and down stairs, falling off, throwing grenades at stuff and failing. It was not good. But I mean, at least I wasn't threatened with death that much. No. This part. I mean, there's token flood attacking you, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And maybe a few Covenant. No, mostly flood. But yeah, and that's about it. And then, so you do that, and then you basically leg it for she tells you have 15 minutes to get out. You probably have less than that, because when you get to the, I guess it's the garage or whatever, where there's a bunch of warthogs.
Yeah.
She tells you only have 6 minutes, which doesn't take 9 minutes to get there. But yeah, she tells you have 6 minutes, and then you get an actual counter on your screen, and you have 6 minutes to drive your warthog.
Warthog bit, baby. This is the best bit of the whole game.
Yeah, the best bit about the warthog, is just driving past people. You can't kill people very well with a warthog on your own, but you can. It's cool to drive past people while they're shooting at you.
Driving through this whole bit with the music in the background is the best bit of this game. Nothing beats this bit.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the music. It's sort of...
Oh my god.
It's good. It's sort of a bit...
It's whimsical.
I wouldn't say it's whimsical.
I'd say it's whimsical.
What, this bit or the whole thing?
Okay, well, sometimes it's whimsical, sometimes it's like... And it's just beautiful.
It's very dramatic. It's sort of... Yeah, it's got a uplifting, Ariadic quality at some points, where they sort of, the...
Yeah, that was pretty good. That's not bad. Thank you, Marty O'Donnell. Thank you.
As I saw something about him as well, that he made each song have really long starts and ends, and bits where you can interchange it, so they can change the melody at certain points, but it'll still flow.
Yeah.
Which is good, and the intensity, if they wanted to make it more intense for more certain bits, or just be a bit more chill. So you've got the music blaring, you're driving the warthog, you got 6 minutes. You make it pretty easy.
Yeah.
I had 2.5 minutes left, I think, when I got to the point where the Pelican's supposed to pick you up. But and so I thought, this is pretty chill, I made this pretty easy. But you get there, the Pelican comes to get you, and gets, I think, shot down by Banshees. Something destroys it.
Yes. No, it is Banshees.
Yeah, it gets destroyed, and then so I'd already got out of my car. I was like getting ready to get picked up, and then because of course, like I said, I didn't know how this game ends, and so Cortana's like, "Oh my god, we gotta keep driving. Oh, there's a thing. Oh, we gotta go. There's just a plane for some reason that's like further on.
Yeah,
there's one plane left further on. That's are you still on the ship at this point, or where are you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a big ship. Pillar of Autumn's huge, mate.
Yeah, I guess it was just a weird place to put a garage, like in the middle of the ship.
Oh, look, man, this is the future. This is like year 25, 52.
Yeah, this is our bit where we drive our cars because it's really open and you can actually drive our cars.
It's a practice. You got to practice.
So you continue driving your car, and I think I made this bit with like 30 seconds left. You get there. There's a point where you have to get out of the car and run the last 100 meters.
The last leg.
And there's a few dudes to fight, but so you get in the ship, you take off, the whole Halo blows up.
Fancy a look?
Did anyone else make it?
Scanning. Just dust and echoes. We're all that's left. We did what we had to do for Earth. An entire Covenant armada obliterated, and the Flood. We had no choice. Halo, it's finished.
No. I think we're just getting started.
That's the end of the series, Halo. No more Halos.
Yeah, no, Halo's done.
That was the end of Halo. You were just memeing when you were talking about Halo 3.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
That's my fan fiction. We'll touch on that later.
Yeah, there's no... Halo's gone, so clearly there can't be any more
The Halo's exploded. Master Chief actually dies at the end.
Yeah.
Of old age. That's the
of old age. It's just him and Cortana on a ship until he dies of old age. So, yeah, it's just these are the only two left alive, apparently, at the end of this game. You've already told me that's not true, but apparently everyone survived. The Arbiter survived.
They do a bit of retconning. Johnson survives.
Sparkman survived, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like Johnson, the Arbiter, and 343 Guilty Spark.
The problem is that all three of these people are on different armies, so they'd all have to find individual ways to get away.
Yes. Well, can we... there is if you finish the game on Legendary, there's like an Easter egg scene where Johnson's hugging an elite at the end. He's like... I need to get you to look it up. But he's like... The ship, everything's like about to explode, and Johnson's like fighting this elite with his fists or something, and then they see it's exploding, he's like, hold me, man. It's so...
But how did he survive that?
Because they retcon it. They're like, Johnson got off his own way.
Okay, so that didn't actually... That's not canon.
It's not canon.
That scene, okay.
No, there's no,
Yeah, right. Because I was thinking like... He used the elite to shield himself from the explosion of the entire planet? Like, what did he do?
No, apparently he also got off at some stage too. Who knows?
Yeah. I didn't realise that Pelican Lady was going to die, because she's been with you the whole time. She was with you the whole time, like...
Oh, her?
Yeah. She was with you the whole time.
Does she have a name?
No, but she also had like the fourth most lines in the game.
Wait, who's Foehammer?
Oh, she's called Foehammer, yeah. That's the plane's called, I thought, but yeah. Yeah, so she dies. She has like the fourth most lines in the game, really, behind Spark Boy.
Cortana.
She almost has as many as Johnson, really. Or Keys, I guess. Keys would be third, and then Johnson and her fourth-ish. Yeah. But she still has more lines than Master Chief, so it's like,
look, this is an important character dying.
This is an important death. Yeah, so you and Cortana are the only survivors, in air quotes, and then the credits roll.
Fantastic game. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Bungie.
Yeah, it was... again, as I said, I wasn't like crazy impressed when I played it, but taking into account the time period, it's like,
Yeah.
I can understand why it was so good. I mean, I'm not a Halo guy. That's not really my thing, but
I love Halo. God, I love Halo.
I can understand why it's so big.
Yeah.
All right. Are there any final thoughts?
Final thoughts?
Or ratings? Have you got a
Oh,
rating
I do
for
have
this?
a rating, yeah. I'll rate this game. Halo Combat Evolved, I will rate 322.
I can see where this is going.
Yeah, Guilty Sparks out of 343 Guilty Sparks.
Guilty Sparks. Yeah, I saw that coming. I mean, again, it's hard for me. Personally, I got to say, like, I know it's a better game than this, but I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, which I think is
That's
what
fair.
I gave.
No, I think that's fair.
Which is what I gave the Outer Wilds last time. But yeah, I mean, it just isn't my perfect game. I do have a slightly new segment, which is what it got on Metacritic,
Oh, yeah?
which is 97.
Fair.
97% based on 68 reviews from critics on Metacritic. I saw a lot. I don't know how old Metacritic is. I'm assuming it was around in 2001. It must have been. Because I saw a lot of
I'd
reviews
imagine so,
saying,
yeah.
you know, this has changed first-person shooters. This has changed, you know.
You don't have, like, the results for the other Halo games? I'd be interested to see what...
I haven't got them on me. But
other Halos.
yeah, if you want to have a look,
quickly
I will stall for time.
Okay, you do that.
Yeah, I mean, because there was a lot of saying, you know, this is like the new thing in console gaming. Like, there was a lot of. I saw a thing before this. There wasn't many first-person shooters on console. Like, it was a revolution to have movement and looking on both different analog sticks. Like, which I think actually had did the original Xbox only have a gamepad and not a analog stick on the left? But
No?
I don't know. I saw something saying they had to optimize it for the gamepad, but
Oh, anyway, Metacritic scores. Halo Reach, 91. Halo 2, 95. Halo 3,
95.
94. Halo 4, 87. And Halo 5, 84.
so they've been it's
It's
a
consistently
steady
good.
decline. But yeah,
consistently good. Though.
it's consistently good. Yes, I mean I've saw a lot of things that saying Halo 2 is better than Halo 1, but I think
Dual wielding, mate. That's what it's about.
dual wielding. I think that from where we were, which was we had nothing, like this was the biggest revelation. Halo 2 was like, it was better than Halo 1, mate. Well, again, this is me saying something without playing it.
Like, what's the word I'm looking for? Impact? Like societal impact, I suppose. Halo 1 bigger than Halo 2.
Yeah, like, as I was saying, like, you might go, yeah, Halo 2 is better than Halo 1, but Halo 1 was like, when you played it, you're like, oh my god,
Halo 1 changed the
what is
game.
this? Yeah. When Halo 2, you're just like, yeah, I think this is a bit better, but
at that stage, it's also like, you know, like, you've already played Halo 1. It's not revolutionary or anything.
yeah, that's what I mean.
It's a fantastic game.
And the thing is, like I said, I'm assuming most of these reviews, based on the little quotes that were there, were done in 2001.
Yeah.
And this was like, a revolution of what shooters can be and what everything can, like, gaming can be.
yeah.
And as I said, it carried a console.
Yeah.
Or basically, it's carried
it's
Xbox.
still carrying.
Yeah,
Well,
it's still
yeah.
carrying. It has a bit of help now, but
These
it's still
Gears
carrying.
and Forza are like the
Yeah,
three...
that are the three pillars of Xbox.
Yeah,
And this one is the number one pillar.
absolutely. Yeah.
All right, well, unless you've got anything else to say.
No, I think I already said thank you to Marty O'Donnell for music,
the music.
because
Yeah.
everyone knows the Halo theme. Everyone knows it. You know it. If you
Yeah.
don't, you're an idiot. What else? I gave my rating. I love Halo. I checked my game stats for the Master Chief Collection. Guess how many days I put into it?
Ooh, 30.
Oh no, that's
too many?
You overshot, yeah.
Oh, I overshot. Yeah, I went 2K.
12. About
I mean,
300 hours or so.
I think my highest game I've played for almost that many days, which is probably Rainbow Six Siege. But
Yeah, just
that's a game. Yeah,
60-ish days.
yeah. Well, so you see, Bungie, mate.
I love Bungie.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess there's not as much replayability in Master Chief Collection as there is in Destiny or something like that. But there's a lot of content there, but you can't keep playing it to stack up that big amount.
No, there's not an end game in a campaign game like this, right? Like,
I think really it probably took me 8 to 9 hours, I'd say, if I had to guess how long it took me. The par time is about 3.5 hours, according to the game. The par time.
Yeah, finish this, in one sitting.
Yeah. It took me about 3.5 hours just to do the last 4 missions. Because of my constant deaths to rocket flood. But or like something stupid like getting hit by a banshee after you shot it down.
That does happen. Yeah,
because they fly straight at you. So if you shoot them down, you're in trouble.
It happens.
Yeah. So I think that's about it. We all have to say. So. Do all the things that people do for podcasts. Like us, comment, whatever. We may or may not have social media at this point.
Who knows?
It's possible. Sure, yeah. We still haven't. We're still pre-launch here, obviously.
There'll be a link or something, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'll put all the stuff you need to know will be in the description when we launch. And apart from that, that's it. I've been Matthew.
I'm Ben.
And this has been the Past Play Podcast. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.